Donald Trump picked up an estimated 17 more delegates last night in Oregon, taking him closer to 1237, the number needed to clinch the Republican nomination. While his comments and alleged behavior toward women brought new scrutiny in recent days, one powerful woman is standing up for him, his daughter, Ivanka. We talked yesterday at New York's Trump Tower, where she pushed back against the latest accusations. I'm going to ask you about the New York Times. They ran a front page article this Sunday about your father and the treatment of women. Did you read it?
I did, and I found it to be pretty disturbing based on the facts as I know them, and obviously I very much know them, both in the capacity as a daughter and in the capacity as an executive who's worked alongside of him at this company for over a decade. So I was bothered by it, but it's largely been discredited since. So most of the time when stories are inaccurate, they're not discredited, and I will be frustrated by that. But in this case, I think they went so far. They had such a strong thesis and created facts to reinforce it. And I think that narrative has been playing out now, and there's backlash in that regard.
I do want to read you from part of the article. It says many of the women interviewed, quote, reveal unwelcome romantic advances, unending commentary on the female form, a shrewd reliance on ambitious women, and unsettling workplace conduct. Is there unending commentary on the female form?
No. And again, this is an article that is widely being discredited. The lead person who was interviewed for the story, and that the story opens up with, was all over the news yesterday saying that they manipulated what she was saying. I don't find it that meaningful to comment on this particular story because I think the facts are starting to speak for themselves.
But you have worked so closely with your dad. There's another woman who is quoted in the article that says that Donald Trump groped her at a at a meeting, at a business meeting.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not in every interaction my father has, but he's not a groper. It's not who he is. And I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women. He was promoting women in development and construction at a time when it was unheard of. There was no trend towards equality in the real estate and construction industry back in the 1980s. And he was doing it because he believes ultimately in merit.
He's running against a woman. And he has said that he's already using gender as a way to run against her.
Well, is he using gender or is she using gender? I think she's using gender as well. I'm not going to advocate for a female leader who I'm voting for solely on the basis of gender. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
You've supported Hillary Clinton in the past financially, voted for her?
Yes.
Do you think bringing up her husband's past infidelities, this discussion, is worthy of a presidential campaign?
You would have to ask my father that. I mean, I'm not, my role is in politics. My role is running our business.
But I do want to get your take on this because you're a very successful businesswoman and you're a mother. And the discourse in this campaign and the tone in this campaign, I mean, your dad loves to tweet, and he has called women crazy, he's called them crooked, that's what he calls Hillary Clinton. He's even used the word bimbo. I mean, do you ever look at those tweets and say, Dad, tone it down a bit?
I've certainly thought that certain things should be toned down, but not necessarily in relation to that. When I think about myself as a feminist, it's important that women are treated equally. And he treats women and men equally.
The polls show he has a 69% unfavorable rating among women. How does he change that?
You would have to ask him. I think that, he's running his campaign. I think that people are just starting to see who he is. The race is different now, and I think that people will be able to see the softer side of him. He's going to be attacked in a different way, but it's different when you're being attacked by one person as opposed to 16.
I think she represents her father very well. She clearly is his daughter, and makes a point that she disagrees with what's being said about him. And she raises a point, Nora, I think, about how the New York Times article, a few women are coming forward saying they were misrepresented. The New York Times, on the other hand, is saying we stand by our story.
Yeah, she says the New York Times created a thesis and then created facts to support that thesis. There'll be more on this story.
Yeah, I was interested the way you pushed her on the notion of attacking Secretary Clinton because of her husband's activities.
Right. Well, it'll be the first first woman nominee of a party. So gender is going to continue to be a topic. And we're going to have more with Ivanka Trump in our next hour, including what happens to the Trump empire if her father wins the White House, plus how she wants to disrupt the concept of working women.